Now, last night, Coloway News Now's Ed Pierce took us along during his investigation of an intriguing Nevada legend, a reported crash of a UFO near Ely in August of 1952. Now, how or why this story originated remains a mystery nearly 6 decades later. But there are more recent mysteries waiting to be solved in White Pine County, including a flurry of sightings in recent weeks and months. Sarah Johns and Ed Pierce join us now for more.
Yeah, Pat, we first heard of these sightings in November, and Ed, one of them was actually caught on tape.
By an inexpensive video camera or digital camera. No one else has captured any visual evidence, but on our recent visit there, we learned the sightings have continued. In fact, there's a long history of strange things in the White Pine County sky.
Look at that! Look at that! Oh, there it is, there it is, there it is! Oh my God, look at it!
The handheld video is shaky, the image almost beyond the capabilities of the camera. Heather Morrison says what we're able to see on the video she took isn't close to what she and her husband saw. That's a conclusion you can reach just by listening to their reaction.
I don't know if it's going to show up because it's so dark. Look at that!
The Morrisons witnessed those lights hanging in the dark sky, blinking on and off one night in early October in a remote spot in White Pine County's Steptoe Valley, 60 miles north of Ely, at a highway intersection called Lages Junction. They saw other motorists pulling over to watch that night.
Through probably this 5-mile radius right here, all pulled over with people getting out looking. There were a lot of people out here that saw it.
But only they came forward to tell. The man who runs the service station and RV park at this lonely site says they apparently were not alone.
And then I've had several people come in the store that said they've seen them when they were driving through. So
Gledhill has operated this highway rest stop for 40 years. He says he hasn't seen the lights himself, but some of his neighbors have. 17-year-old Mike Bertrand didn't see or hear anything October 2nd, but one night in early December he stepped outside.
And all of a sudden this big light just came up, just big. It was green and orange, wham, right there. And then all of a sudden it just disappeared.
And it wasn't the first time Bertrand has seen something he couldn't explain. Every June, he says, other lights are seen over a summit north of here.
I always see it, the same exact time of the year.
In November, a standing room only crowd showed up at an Ely hotel to hear a presentation by Mark Easter, a field investigator for MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. Some lingered to tell their own stories, including sightings by mine workers just west of town a few nights after the sightings at Lages Junction. The sightings here have continued as well.
We've got a couple of new witnesses describing pretty much the same thing. So as far as I'm concerned, this is an ongoing investigation. It's not done.
One night I was out there and this thing went overhead and I didn't pay much attention, but it stopped in midair and changed directions. It was too high up to be a helicopter, so I just went in the house. I didn't know what it was, but the government might have been testing something, I don't know, but I figured I didn't want to witness it, so I went in the house.
If Sorensen and others are less unnerved than one might expect, it's because people out here say it's not uncommon to see strange things in the nighttime sky. Ely sits midway between two possible terrestrial sources for these sightings, the Nellis Air Force Base Range and Area 51 to the south, and the Utah Test and Training Range used by Hill Air Force Base to the north. And there's history behind the assumption that some of these sightings, at least, originate there.
For years, people saw deltas flying over Ely before the Air Force admitted that the stealth fighter existed.
Of course, neither the stealth fighter nor any other known aircraft look like or can execute the kind of silent maneuvers some witnesses are reporting. And so people here are left to draw their own conclusions. If history is any guide, their speculations will continue.
I'm not so sure if UFOs wanted to visit Ruth, Nevada or not, but, we see stuff in the sky all the time. What it is, we don't know. And, if you live here long enough, you see something.
So, Ed, normally when you think of people who are saying that they've seen a UFO, you think of someone who's not all there upstairs, but you spoke with these people, you got a good feel for them, they're real tried and true.
And a lot of these people we had to talk hard to get them to talk with us. It's not like they're clamoring to tell their story. But
or fear that people will think that
right, but there really is, I won't call it a nonchalance, but they're not surprised when they look up in the sky and see something strange there. It's been going on for a long time. A lot of people make assumptions that it's the military. A few other people are open to other ideas, but they are seeing something. I'm convinced. They're not making it up. What it is, they don't know and we don't know.
And no reports to NORAD?
These aren't the kind of people that would call NORAD on this stuff. For one thing, I won't say routine, but it's not uncommon. And they just assume that if the government, if they're seeing something, that the government probably knows. And
all right.
So,
Ed, thanks.
You bet.
Well, we of course want to hear from you. We'd like to further investigate unidentified flying objects. If you've had a sighting, join the conversation on our Facebook page. Our username, KOLO8 News Now.